Taoiseach, please.
Thank you, Ceann Comhairle. I think without doubt being Minister for Health is one of the toughest jobs in government. I believe it's also... I believe it's also one of the most important jobs in the country because it affects so many lives. It's also a good experience for higher office. It helps you to understand what a crisis is and what it is not, and how to deal with many at the same time. It's noteworthy, Ceann Comhairle, that 3 of the 4 main party leaders in the Dáil are former Ministers for Health. The other, who is proposing this motion, has never held ministerial office and has no real understanding of the day-to-day dilemmas that ministers face. Whether it's being pressurised to act before you have full and accurate information, being expected to make decisions before you have the time to consider all the options, and having to choose between 2 or 3 imperfect choices, knowing full well that no choice will satisfy your critics. Ceann Comhairle, I think if the deputies of Sinn Féin had any real experience of running a country, a government department, a large organisation, or even a small business, they would not be so trigger-happy with their motions of no confidence. It is the 6th in half as many years. I have confidence in the Minister for Health for many reasons. He's a minister who's getting things done. A successful referendum on the 8th Amendment, a Public Health Alcohol Act, and after years of little investment, 3 national hospital projects now under construction and a 4th due to go to tender in the foreseeable future. Free GP care has been extended to all carers, and a medical card to all children with a severe disability, regardless of their parents' income. The HPV vaccine for boys, and improved patient outcomes in cancer, stroke, heart attack and cystic fibrosis. Even in the toughest of areas, like the number of patients on trolleys, he's made measurable progress. While still far too many, this year so far is at its lowest in 3 years. And in January, the number of patients waiting more than 3 months for an operation or procedure at the Sláintecare target was at a 4-year low. We've lost some ground due to the recent strikes, but we'll regain that ground. Minister Harris has also handled difficult and emotive issues, like securing funding for cystic fibrosis treatments like Orkambi and cervical check with utmost sensitivity. He invests enormous time and energy into gaining the confidence of patient representatives, and if supported, I believe he can do much more in his post. Ceann Comhairle, I also have confidence in the National Children's Hospital project. I know major errors were made in calculating the true cost of building a hospital of this scale and complexity, and as head of government, I collectively and personally accept responsibility for that. However, I do not accept that it is wasteful expenditure. It's now a project that's well underway. The first phase, the satellite centre in Blanchardstown, will open this year to patients. The satellite centre in Tallaght will begin construction this year and open next. And stage 1 is almost complete at the St James's site in Dublin 8, with stage 2 commenced. After decades of promises and false starts, it's finally being delivered. Of course, we will do all that we can to ensure that the project gets back on track and to ensure that it's delivered on time and in line with the revised budget. And we'll work to ensure that it's commissioned no later than 2023. Ceann Comhairle, I also have confidence in Project Ireland 2040. 1 year on from its launch, we have many projects coming in on time and on budget. The shovels are in the ground and the work is being done. All over the country, you see the vision of Project Ireland 2040 now being realised. Last week, we turned the sod on the new runway at Dublin Airport, our gateway to the world, promised for decades, now under construction. On Friday, I'll be in Sligo for the sod turning to mark the construction of the N4 Clooney to Castlebaldwin Road, again promised for decades, now under construction. And the same story can be told in every county in Ireland, taxpayers' money being well spent on investments in the future. 64 million allocated to rural areas and towns only last week. Schools, community nursing units, third-level institutions, primary care centres, tourism projects and sporting facilities. Ceann Comhairle, we hear a lot about accountability in this House. But accountability at its most simple is about taking responsibility for your actions and answering for them. Accountability is not giving in to the baying mob, the thirst for bloodletting, and a head on a plate every other day. A baying mob doesn't provide answers and it doesn't provide solutions. This was true in November 2017, when Sinn Féin put down a motion of no confidence in the then Taoiseach, France Fitzgerald, accusing her of being at the centre of a scandal, and then made false claims that were subsequently discredited. Yet we've had no apology from them for that. It was also true when they tried to weaponise homelessness and personalise the debates around housing against Minister Murphy. And it was true when they made false claims in this House about former members having offshore bank accounts. Again, no retraction yet, and no apology for those false claims. And we see more of that type of practice again today from the Sinn Féin party. It is easy to throw rocks, and very cowardly, but it takes courage to put your reputation on the line and to try to build something better and something lasting. And Minister Harris has the courage and the competence to succeed as Minister for Health, and I believe he deserves our support.